Okay, I've shared my screen. Please let me know whether you are able to see the screen.
Yes, sir, visible.
Okay, fine. So, in our last session, yeah, we have understood till what is test environment, and today, yeah, we'll start with test management and a reporting procedure. In that, we have different subsections. That is test management, defect management, test reports, and testing tools. So, test management and reporting procedure. Okay, so under this, we have test management. Okay. So basically is a test management. Uh, Basically managing all the testing activity, okay, to make sure that we deliver a quality application. Okay. And also select test management is something which like organizing or controlling the testing process that is followed, okay, to make sure that the quality application is delivered. Okay. This is just a say like explanation or say like a understanding of what exactly is a test management. Okay. The other sections in this will give us what exactly we'll have to be doing in order to make sure that the test management is achieved. Okay. So let me give the notes. Management activities to make sure the quality application. Okay. And I can say this management consists of controlling, uh, organizing, and visibility of the visibility of the process is followed to make sure delivery. So this is all about the test management. And in this, we have after test management, defect management. Defect. Okay, so what is defect management? Basically, if we are testing any particular feature or a module, it's quite obvious that we will be um, creating the defects. Okay, and once we create those particular defects, right, we should categorize those particular defects into uh, the like mm, we should categorize the defects into um, how soon that defects has to be fixed. Okay, and what is the so like impact of having that particular defect. Okay, so basically the categorization would be on priority and the severity of the defect. Okay, so what is the priority on how soon that particular defect has to be fixed, and what is the severity of having that particular defect? Right, so let me write here. um, Defects are identified, be evaluated, evaluated, categorized, categorized, categorized. So so that the difference will be and audibly. Okay, so uh, what is this categorization? As I told you, this categorization would be something like priority. Okay, can somebody tell me what is a priority?
Based on that, how soon the defect should be fixed.
Okay, yeah. So priority is something which goes for the defect has to be fixed. And the next one is severity. Can somebody tell me what is the severity?
Impact on business.
Right. So
How does the defect impact on the business?
correct. So it is the impact of the defect on customers' business. Right. So if the impact is huge, then it has to be fixed on a high priority. Okay. Fine. All right. So I'll do one thing. There are different classes of priority. So we'll come up with what are the different classes.
Local defect, critical defect, major and minor.
Correct. So let me see. Mm, there are classes. Priority. Mm, Class. Therefore, I can say P naught or so. What is a P naught or a critical? Basically, uh, I can say. Like if the issue is blocking the user workflow, or uh, I can say the problem has to be uh, eliminated immediately. Okay, so if user workflow is blocked, okay, if the user workflow is blocked, then the issue eliminated, eliminated or immediately. So, for example, like uh, um, or example I can give, yeah. So, for example, like registration page is not opening, right? So, user will click on my account. Okay. So, in this application, right? So, my account icon or button is clicked. Okay. So, once it is clicked, what should happen? The registration page should open, but this page itself is not opening. This page is not coming up. So what kind of issue, or what kind of priority for that issue would be, like it is a critical and it has to be fixed. If it is not fixed, then this feature cannot be moved or pushed to the production, right? Correct. So it is a kind of a blocker, basically, or a critical, where user cannot use that particular application at all, right? So such kind of issue comes under P naught or critical, right? Okay. Very good. And next is P1 or high. P1 or high. So what kind of uh, issues that fall under P1 is, I can say the user workflow is not blocked. Okay, the user workflow is not blocked, but user is able to submit that particular form with not providing the mandatory information. For example, once we are in the registration form or registration page, okay, so I'm providing the mobile number and receiving the OTP, or click on receive OTP, get OTP. Okay, I'm getting the OTP. I am in a page or in a form where I need to provide all the information. Okay, so for example, what I'll do, I'll just provide some random number starting with 0. I'll say get OTP. Right. So this is basically the registration page or registration form. Now, if you see, we have first name as a mandatory. So whichever has this asterisk or star, right? It is a mandatory. Last name is not mandatory, right? So email is not mandatory because they have specifically mentioned it is optional. If I say, if I provide these details, okay, I'm not selecting this Mr. Miss or Mrs. or first name, and I'm saying start shopping. It should have given, yeah. You see, please enter first name, right? So if I'm not providing these kind of information, okay, and it should not accept this particular registration form, right? So suppose imagine if I'm not providing these details like first name or this registration Mr. Miss or Mrs. information, and if I'm clicking on start shopping button, okay, it is registering the user. So these kind of issues can be considered as a P1 or high priority issues, right? So without this mandatory information, the form should not be submitted, but the form is getting submitted, right? And in database also, these particular information are not available, right? So such kind of issues can be considered as a P1 or a high priority issues. Okay, this is an example that I'm giving you. Okay, so let us come back. I can say user workflow is not blocked. User workflow is not blocked. However, we will need to submit the registration page by providing the mandatory information. Or I can say fine. The next one is like P2, which I can say as medium, right? So what kind of issues that might fall under P2? So mm, yeah, I can say like to take the application, I should provide this mandatory information, but something like this. For example, I'm giving some special characters. It's not uh, taking the special character messages. I'm trying to provide Just give me a second, guys. So I'm trying to provide numbers. It's not accepting. I'm trying to provide some special characters. I'm trying to import them, but it's not taking. It's only taking the string. Okay. So basically, uh, the issues which comes under medium or P2 issues would be like suppose instead of taking this number, if I provide some special characters or numbers, it's accepting it. Such issues I can say will fall uh, medium clarity issue. Not, if they are not providing any information,
Sir, your voice is breaking.
just give me a second. Let me check the network. How about now? Is it clear or still my voice is breaking?
Yeah, it's clear, sir.
Okay, okay, fine. Yeah. So what I was telling was like if I'm not providing any information in the mandatory field, then if I'm submitting, if the form is getting submitted, then it is kind of a high priority issue. But I'm providing some information. Okay. So without providing the information, if the form is not getting submitted, then it is not a high priority issue. But I'm providing some information, but that information is not a, a valid information, right? So something like special characters in the first name field, or I'm providing some numbers in the first name field, or basically I can say invalid inputs, right? If I'm doing that and the registration form is getting submitted, then such kind of issues can be uh, say like given as a high priority issues. Sorry, not high priority, medium priority issues, right? So without providing the first name, I'm not able to submit it. But if I'm providing some invalid input and still I'm able to submit it, then such kind of issues can be considered as a medium priority issues, right? So let me write it. Mm, medium priority or like the bug fix might take place in the upcoming sprint. Okay. And example for this is you can submit the registration page by providing valid inputs mandatory. and next one would be P3 or low priority. Mm, so, what kind of issues might come under P3 uh, or low priority? So, like, uh, I can say if the issues are in P3 or low priority, right, the fixing of these issues can be in the ASAP. So, the fixing of these issues would be in so like upcoming sprints, or say like it can be uh, fixed in next release as well. Okay. Basically, it can be even fixed in the maintenance stage as well. It need not be fixed on an immediate basis, or if it is not fixed, it will not block the customer flow, or it is not going to block the function of the registration field in any way. Okay. And also, that what kind of issues you might see if it has to be called as a P3 or a low priority issues. For example, now, mm, so like there can be any sort of simple spelling mistake, right? Um, I can say here, um, so like in this terms and conditions or terms of use or privacy, there is some simple spelling mistake, right? But still, user is able to submit this registration form. Okay. So instead of years, it is like YAERS, right? But still, it is not going to block the user, or it is not going to affect the user flow, right? And user is able to register himself, correct? So such kind of issues will fall under uh, select low priority or a trivial priority, I can say. So I'll write the E leaves the maintenance. Example about this, like um, the registration form which has low visibility. What is this low visibility that I'm speaking here is? See, there is a spelling mistake over here. Okay. Instead of I agree, AGREE, it is just AGRE. Okay. So the visibility is very low. Okay. So the priority is also low. Suppose imagine a spelling mistake with high visibility. For example, this is the Pantaloons logo, right? And here we have the spelling mistake. Okay. Instead of PANTALOONS, it is PANTALONS. So the visibility will be very, very high, and these kind of issues should be fixed at a high priority, right? At a P naught or a P1 priority, these kind of issues has to be fixed, which is highly visible, right? And if we have spelling mistake somewhere over here, like G instead of green card, like GREENCARD, it is GRENCARD. Even this has to be fixed, but which is of low priority, which can be fixed in maintenance stage or in upcoming releases as well. So these kind of issues will fall under P3 or low priority, and which is having very low visibility. Okay, so this is all about the priority. Now let us see what is severity, right? So in severity, there are four classes of severity. I'll come up with the table and we'll understand. Uh, we have a severity, something called a, I can say, so blocker is something which is blocking the user from using the registration page or navigating to the registration page. So for example, I'm just uh, clicking on this my account icon. It is not taking me to the registration page. Or if he is a registered user, it is not taking him to the login page. So such kind of issues falls under the blocker uh, severity or blocker issues. So here I have used the terms like critical, high, medium, low. In severity, I'm going to use like blocker, critical, major, and minor. Okay, so there is a issue which is blocking the user to navigate to the registration page or navigate to the login page, right? Such kind of issues will fall under the blocker uh, select class of the severity. So, bug which is the so the page or login page. So once after I click on my account icon, if he is a new user, I'm not seeing the registration form. Or if he is a registered user, I'm not seeing the login form or login page. Such kind of issues fall under the blocker. Okay. The next class The next class is like critical. Okay. So in this critical, for example, mm, what I can say, the critical issue would be something which the pretty much necessary feature or the field in the registration page or the login page is not implemented. For example, here uh, the field which says first name and last name, right? This field itself is not implemented or not developed, right? Or there is something called as this Mr., Miss, or Mrs. Based on this, right, the gender would be selected. Suppose, imagine I say Mr., okay, it will consider the gender as male. If I say Miss or Mrs., it will consider the gender as female, okay. So basically, these particular options are not implemented. So it is as good as that the gender is not captured of the user, right? So such kind of issues will fall under the critical severity. So the I can say fundamental functionality of the feature is effective or not implemented, right? And the next is medium. So the medium severity defects are like I can say the feature can be used okay without any issues, but there is some functional deviation in that particular feature, right? So the medium severity issues would be like, for example, I can say what example I can give here is yeah. So here they have given an option of 3 attempts, right? A total of 3 times we can attempt to register, right? But it is giving us the option to register with the fourth attempt as well. Attempts as in suppose imagine you have done something wrong in providing the OTP, or if you are given a incorrect OTP for the 3 times, it will block you for some time. For example, it will block you for 5 minutes in order to register again. But what is happening is it is not blocking you; it is giving you a fourth attempt and fifth attempt as well, right? So such kind of issues can be considered as a say like a major severe severity issue. Ultimately, what should happen? It should block the attempt, but it is giving you fourth attempt and fifth attempt as well. Uh, no matter it is giving you the attempt. to log in for the fourth time or fifth time. But still, what is happening? It is giving you the option in order to proceed further with the registration or the login, right? So basically, it should not block you. It's not blocking you for the fourth attempt or the fifth attempt, but still, it is giving you an option to just move further with the fourth attempt or the fifth attempt. That is, it is giving you the option to register yourself. So a user is added for Pantaloons application, right? And in the login page, it is giving the user an option to log in with the fourth attempt or the fifth attempt also. So the user is able to log in and is able to use the application, right? But that should not happen basically, but it is letting you to do it. So it is not an issue which is impacting the user experience, but it is an issue. So such kind of issues can be given as a major severity, right? So I'll just mention here. So I can say variation in the feature, functional variation in the feature. However, the system can be used without any. Okay, functional variation in the feature. However, the system can be used without any restrictions. Fine. Now comes the next. I would think as medium. Sorry, that should be something called as major. Okay. The last one is minor. Okay. So what is this minor issue? Uh, it is something called as I can say there is a marginal variation. Okay, very simple variation. But however, the system can be used without any restrictions. So what kind of marginal variations? I can say so like yeah again that simple spelling mistake, right? Instead of registration, it is say registration SION instead of TION. But still the system can be used without any issues. This is just a marginal variation. Okay, there is no much variation in the uh, utilization of the application, right? Or the design is something which it is email underscore ID. Okay, that is how they have provided in the design, but you are using it as email space ID, right? So it is simple variation. Okay, but the system is not blocked anywhere. The system can be used seamlessly. So such kind of things can be considered as a minor severity or minor severity issue. Okay, so we mentioned like marginal variation in feature, the marginal variation in the feature. However, used without any restriction. Okay, so this is some can be used. All right, so this is all about the defect management. And the next one in this section is test reports. So, test reports can be uh, provided on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, right? So, let me create one simple test report. Okay. Test report. Test report of bank loans application. Okay. So, mm, I'll mention uh, week as on column. Okay. Why I'm mentioning date is because uh, the test report can be of a daily test report or a weekly test report. Okay. So that is the reason I'm mentioning the date. Okay. Date, and then I'll say uh, module. Okay. And uh, mm, total number of test cases, number of test cases executed, right? I'll say test case executed. Uh, number of test cases passed, number of test cases failed, number of issues. Okay. This one simple. Okay. This is one simple test report template. So I'll come up with some sample values. So date. Suppose imagine there's a select daily test execution report. Okay. What is today? Today is 23rd August 24th. Okay. So here the module is registration page. Okay, total number of test cases. Suppose imagine there are so like 77 test cases for registration page, and total number of tests executed. So today, for example, I have executed 15 test cases, and total number of test cases yet to be executed. If I have executed 15, then sorry, 62. So there are 62 test cases which are left out, which has to be executed. A number of test cases passed. So out of 15 test cases that I have executed, like 13 are passed, right? And two are failed, and two defects has to be raised, right? So this is a test execution report for today, for one day, right? And in the same way, the same template can be used for a weekly report as well. So, for example, um, today is 23rd, right? So the week started 19th. So from 19th to 23rd, I'll mention. In case if it is a weekly report, so 19th to 23rd August, right? So again, for the same registration page, and the total test case are so much. Okay, so I have executed somewhere around 57 cases, and the remaining are 20. Okay, and total number of passed out of 57 are, I'll say, 50 are passed, and seven are failed, and I've raised seven issues in a weekly basis. Okay, so this is one simple execution report or a test report. Okay, that can be created and shared across the senior management, like your managers, etc. So what I'll do, I'll just copy this. Okay, and I'll just mention this under the test reporting. So it's 5.3 test reports. Right. So what is this test reports? Basically, we create the test reports uh, to reflect the testing results. Okay, and the test reports will provide us the information on what is the testing that is completed and the pending testing activities, or how much testing efforts is pending or remaining. Okay, and it also gives us the process of how much testing is left out, and mm, in case if there is any deviation in the testing uh, or the features that is tested, that can be uh, selected. known in this particular test reports. Okay, so let me mention what is this test report. Mm, I'll say test report are required. Test reports are required to the testing results, for multiple. Mm, let's say test reports give will be as progress. I'm still audible, right? Hello.
Yes, no audible.
Okay, fine. Is any deviation estimations. So with one small table for frequency. Okay, I'll provide the test report here, which I have provided this here. And the frequency is, let's say, daily. So, is one thing, right? I've provided the link. That is the link. Select the test report link that I've created, the template. Okay, I've pasted it over here, so you people can access it. By clicking on this link, you will be able to see the test report link. Okay, so this is one thing. All right, so that I have covered, and now the next part is test reports is going to be testing tools. Right point. Okay, tools. Okay, so second, all right. So testing tools section will give us the information of the tools that is used for the testing purpose, or the tools that is used to perform the testing activities. Okay, so say testing tools which is used as part of testing activities to test the precision or login page. Okay, so are used. Okay, fine. So I'll come up with a table. Okay, so this table, I'll say of the type, then the details. Okay, so what are the different tools? I'll say test case management tool, right? And then we have test management tool, and then we have something called as management tool, and then we have testing tools, right? So test case management tool. There are different test case management tools that is available, right? So uh, uh, I will just list out what are the different test case management tool. I'll say to be decided because it is not there in our hands to decide it. So uh, it is we have something called as test trail. So we have something called as the fire scale. The fire scale, okay, and then We have something called as HPQC or ALM. Okay. So test trail is a test case management tool, okay, which gives us the option of writing the test cases, okay, against the requirement specification, and uh, we do have option of creating the test cycle, right? So whatever the test case that is written, we can create a test cycle using those particular test cases and execute those particular test cases, okay, which is something similar to this test report that I have provided, right? So even the test report can be generated using this test case management tools by creating the test cycles. Same way, Zephyr scale. So this is a test case management tool which can be integrated with the Jira tool. Okay. And we have HPQC or ALM, in which we have a test case management tool. Okay. The same way, we have a test management tool. The test management tool also is something similar. We we have something called as Jira. We have HPQC or ALM. Okay. So this test management tool, right? Under this test management tool only we have this test case management tool like Zephyr scale, or within HPQC or ALM we have the testing tools activity, right? That can be performed. Okay. And then we have defect management. The defect management tools also, right? As it to be decided, we can raise the defects using the Jira tool, or we can raise the defects using HPQC or ALM, or we can raise the defects using defect tools like Bugzilla, etc. So we have different tools, and using these tools, we can raise the defects. And coming to the final stage, the testing tools, right? That different testing tools that can be used are like, mm, so I can say, to be decided. Okay, so we can use Postman to test the backend or the APIs, and we can use Charles Proxy to test the network trafficking or the different APIs that is used to use the application. Okay, and we can use something called as rest assured, rest assured or Karate, TSL. We can use Selenium or APM, etc. So these are the tools which are used to test the APIs and the network calls and automating the APIs, right? Or automating the UI of the application, etc. So these are the different testing tools that can be used, and different tools that can be used to manage the test cases or to manage the defects, etc. Right? So this completes the fifth section, that is uh, test management and reporting procedure. Okay. And the next one could be the assumption, risk, and mitigation plan, which we will complete Um, in the next session, like, so, guys, I just wanted to ask you people, like, this tomorrow or day after tomorrow, you people are available.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Sunday is fine or tomorrow is fine for you people.
Sunday.
Okay. Uh, this Sunday I'll take one session of 1 hour session wherein I'll complete the one section which is remaining in the test plan, and we'll start with the test cases part, right? So in test cases part, I'll come up with a test case template which includes almost all the uh, columns that can be utilized. Okay, and in test cases we'll be work select uh, writing the test case for the functionality, integration, UI, and end-to-end cases, right? So I'll start with the functionality test cases and completing this one particular section in the test plan. Okay, so this Sunday will join at uh, 6:30 or 7 o'clock. I'll just confirm the timing. Okay, on Sunday. Uh, so you people do not have any mock interviews or any other activities, right?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, okay, that's great then. So we'll join this Sunday. I'll just confirm the timing. I'll mention in the message, WhatsApp message. Either we'll join at 6:30 or 7. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
All right, guys. So I'll stop it here today, and I'll just inform when we'll connect on Sunday, and then we'll join and we'll finish the